Good morning. Today is that of the 22nd of November, 2018. Welcome to the Crypto Day morning. It is also US Thanksgiving. All bets, trades, and of the like within one's own risk and own reward. I'm going to take a quick look at Bitcoin in this morning's video. And then I've go over a couple questions. One, certain indicator in which why I don't use it, as well as a question about the bombardment of buy orders that come in during moves like this within the down periods. Take a look at GNT Golem, not only the current look at it, but take a look at its early movements from the beginning, as I actually trade it from the start. Not only the start of Golem, but the start of my trading. So I want to show you my first few trades, some statistics, how I come up with the statistics if you're interested in doing the same sort of thing. So let's get started. The down move, well, we've talked about the sideways consolidation, how it's had the clear break of the around 6K level. Price objective I have is in at 3,000. It's already managed to make it down to 4. So therefore, the majority of the move, and when I say majority, greater than 50%, has already occurred to its play to 3,000. So I'm really ruling out the failed breakdown play now. I mean, technically, I suppose it could, but it becomes very, very less likely that I see this declining 18 average. I'm going to be looking at that as a level of resistance. This little first congestion area in here, 52.24 to 55.83. If it's unable to correct to that of price, then it's going to go through time. I'd be expecting it to go lower and expect this area to be the next resistance area. Of course, it's going to have to fall for that to be the case. Looking at such on a 3-day term time frame, or 3-hour time frame rather, price action is just congesting within this 18 average since the decline, the second decline started. Because the first one, it came down from here, did this little move in here, and then a long period, about a half or 4/10, 2/5 of a week of just going sideways, another leg lower, and it's now just correcting within the band. So it still has to have a decent break above such to even attempt to end this down move and even have a price correction to the upside, since both down moves have shown via price corrections through that of time. So we'll see this continue to work. I myself as a trader am looking to be buying at 3,000 on the buy orders that I have, but even a little bits here and there on the TUSD holdings that I have, I'll buy now and again, and mainly because of the fact of buy orders. I'll get to that in a little bit. But as far as I was wondering, people were wondering what question I had about an RSI indicator, relative strength index. I only use what is shown. Volume, nice to have. Price action is generally the key. That's the actual moves. That's not indicators. That's the charts itself. And the 18, which is something I just played around with in my early days of trading. And on freestockcharts.com, I just put it in there and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And well, I've never ever not used it ever since. I do like putting lines in now and again. I don't like this trading site for doing non-horizontal lines for trend lines up and down. I'm not a big fan of their trend lines overall. I think they're nice, but what I find very annoying with charts from day one is when I see a whole bunch of lines, like all of these moving averages, like 20 moving, and I'm sarcastic when I say 20 moving averages, but not when I say 5 or 6 different moving averages, 7 or 8 different trend lines here. We got Bollinger Bands here. We got all of these indicators below, like RSIs and all of these different things. I'm just looking at way too much. I don't need it. I like to see how the story moves within the chart itself, and that's why price action to me is really the most important thing, and I only use what is shown. So for anything that is not shown, the reason why I don't use it, well, that's pretty much your answer there. The next question was about the bombardment of buy orders that happen during these moves, and they have occurred big time throughout the well over 1.5 years of trading. that I have been doing. Getting close to a 2-year anniversary of my trading time now. And I just have to have base currency to do such, because when markets go, base markets that is, so let's just put a golem on the screen now. But when markets go up, or these markets here, I'm going to be gaining Bitcoin. When they go down, I'm going to be having to spend Bitcoin. And when these markets all go down together, well then that means that you're going to have a lot of buy orders, especially if you're like me and you play many different cross pairings. On the day of the fall on Bitcoin, it was buy everywhere. I spent, I think, 9 or 10 days showing how many trades that I made. Every single trade that I made. Well, I made more trades that day than I did the entire time, because of the fact that it was pretty much every crossing that I had, for the most part, or 2/3 of them maybe, were filling in with buy orders. So I have to have base currency ready, which is Bitcoin. And I ended up having to take 0.02 Bitcoin from my hardware wallet, and I sent it to one of my trading sites because I had no Bitcoin, had no US dollars on there, and I need to put buy orders in. And interestingly, it took about a day and 3/4 for it to just even start processing. I had to wait 2 days to get that Bitcoin. And within trading itself, I have never, ever not gotten my cryptos. Whenever I sent them to a designated address, as long as it was a legitimate address, I have always received them. I have made a lot of crypto transfers on my day, through my, well, close to 2 years. There's been several times where I get, not panicked, but I'm like, come on, what's going on here? But it did manage to go through. But that could mean, like, I'm trying to make a payment to buy some gold and silver. What happens if that takes 2 days? I suppose I think I get a refund back, but sometimes cryptocurrency transfers can take much, much longer. And that's happened several times for me, where one way or another, whether it's exchange situations that they have to tend through, or the blockchain situations, or usually it always is via the blockchain, but you just have to go through it. Anyway, so always having base currency ready. So that means having Bitcoin or having dollars ready to deposit into accounts or buy Bitcoin with later on is really part of the strategy. And in situations when we see like what happened earlier this year, this thing goes from 2,800 up to 8,000. If markets go up like this, you are going to get a major surplus in Bitcoin when this is going on. Because the beautiful part about the trading strategy mechanism in here is when this happens, here you are buying last somewhere around 3,000, maybe in the the high 2,900s, or the low, or barely below 3,000. So now it goes up to 4,300, which is definitely a sell opportunity. Possible buyback opportunity. It depends on your volatility. Sometimes you're going to buy several times below here, and I'm going to show you examples of why when I show you my first layer of trades. But during this run in here, this move here comes back down. So when you're going from 6,600 down to 5,000, definitely opportunities where you could be getting buybacks, and all of these moves that come back down to make well, to the 18 average and below. But even up here, you sell at this high, buy back here, sell up there. It really helps increase Bitcoin. So what do I do with my Bitcoin that I make from those gains? You bank it. You spend it. And banking it means you're going to need to be buying buy orders for everything sold in here. You bank it. Everything bought in here was because of this sell. And that's going to work out to the point that what you sell in here will give you enough funds to buy it even below this low, or towards that low maybe. Yeah, even below that low you'd be able to buy for sure. That's what I end up doing with within the sales that way. And yeah, that's just normal because you're going to make big gains up here. You're going to have bigger losses down there. But in order for you to go through the situations of having markets, and hopefully you want these markets just keep on chopping in this type of direction, then it's going to work out that, oh, I'm doing great, I'm doing bad, I'm doing great, I'm not doing as good. But overall, when you're having a market like this, then you're probably trading something like this yourself. So you just take the higher highs and higher lows long term, and that's how I look at it for the most part. So continuing further within this, first, how does Golem look right now? Well, it's at the lower end. It's had a move to the 18 average. Could it get above? Maybe. It could very easily resist this area. I just had a sale order come in at 22 and a half, 22.49. But I was able to buy at around the 1900 or in the 1800s somewhere. I bought near the bottom, 1850 maybe. I can't remember. But sell here. I'll buy back if it comes down to this area, and if it comes up here, I'm going to have a sell order in place as well. But going back to when this started, I have an interesting story, and I'm going to go through the story first and then go through my previous trades. The date was in that of March the 30th, 2017. The approximate time would have been about 10 p.m. Eastern time on the 29th. And what I was doing is I was making orders. And the orders, and I'm going to change this to the 3-hour time frame. I was making orders for the main codes that I'm trading. At the time, it was Bella, B-E-L-A, not even on Poloniex anymore, and I traded that really successfully. But what I was doing was I was putting a whole bunch of buy and sell orders in, like insane buy orders, insane sell orders, just in case something happened where I could get some superior gains. And sure enough, this move happened. But see, what I did was I did it on the code Bella, not on GNT. And I was even instinctively thinking about it as well. And this market on this period we can see was at 6,700 Satoshi. And in one click, it was bought up to 20,000 Satoshi. And I had a decent amount of GNT at that time, where I didn't have sell orders ready to go for those big levels. What I should have done in here was have sell orders for, well, if I'm doing it today, like, well, 7,200, puts them in around 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 13,000, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, and 100,000, something like that. And then when that happens, I'd hit everything up to 20,000. That would have been so sweet. But it didn't happen, and I was able to get some small gains and profit along the way, but I didn't get anything way up here. And the worst part was I was looking to do that hours before the event happened. Let's talk about statistics now. With all these sites, oftentimes it's very easy to be able to get all your buys and sells, which you can then put into a spreadsheet. Sometimes I'll put in a spreadsheet for you. So what I've done is I've copied and pasted every single Golem trade I made from the time this started, and we can see this started roughly February 18th, 2017, up to April the 1st. So up to basically this top. Show you statistically how it worked out, how you would do it, and all my trades. So let's get that shown. Let's bring in a spreadsheet. And within the Poloniex site, they have it sorted where it goes cross for, this is the code pairing, buy or sell. So this was buy, that of exchange, which quite frankly, I don't need that. I could just delete that column. This here is the price, 78.37. You can sort this to 8 decimals. I have done that on another sheet. The amount that you bought, rate, cost, and you have to delete some variables, not too hard, and then the date. So I have sorted this via buys and sells. And the amount of trades that I made in just a month and a week. These are my buys. I'm on row 154, and I'm halfway there on my buys. There's like over 300 of them. What I've done is I've taken the sum of everything that I've bought, subtract the sum of how many I've had to pay for. And then here works out to the cost of my Bitcoin. So I bought 19,012 bunch of them, spending 0.68 Bitcoin. Doing the same thing with the sells, and there's just as many sell orders as there is buy orders, pretty much over 300. This goes into row 600 and change, 684. The sum of the sales, so I sold 18,726 for 0.72 Bitcoin, which meant at that time I had 285 of these coins, and I had a net gain of 0.0385 Bitcoin, subtracting this from this. And I would take the sum of this number, subtract the rate in Bitcoin. Because on Poloniex, when you buy, you have to give up the base currency that you buy. So if you buy 100, you're getting over 99.9-ish or so, or 99.8, whatever. And so on and so forth. So I take the sum here, then I can subtract these two and realize I've gained that, and just do statistics that way. Now, as far as my trades are concerned, how I've got this sorted is in date order, whether it's a buy or a sell, the price, and the amount. I've gotten rid of all of the rake fees and everything. So I started trading on the day of February 20th, 2017. And at 9:37 or 2100 hours European time, it's about a 5-hour difference for me, so about 4:30 in the afternoon, I bought 9 of these coins at the cost of $24.43. And then 6 minutes later, I sold them all back for the exact same price, thus I paid a bit of rake. The next day, almost a little over 24 hours later, I bought 100 of them. And I was right to get out of it because the price went down significantly from $24.40 to under 20. And then about 43 minutes later, I sold a quarter of my position. 13 to get to 80 plus 4, 17 basis points higher. Almost 1% I sold a quarter of my position. And then not long after that, I sold 25 more when it got 16 basis points gain. Almost now from my entry point, I'm up like 1.6%. Looking pretty good. But then it goes down. As we can see here, about 9 minutes later, it goes to 1966. Basically at cost, I get rid of 13 more. And then an hour and a half later, I get rid of 20 more. And then an hour later, I get rid of 13 more. But this one's at a profit, $19.99. And I guess took 2 trades to get to $19.99. The next day, not many hours later even at that. Actually, no, yeah, day and a half later. The price is up to $21.66. I buy 10. But we can see here, $14.35. I buy it up to $21.46, $21.50, $21.54. Keep on buying 10 at a time. 58, 62. 15 minutes later, I sell $21.62 to $21.95. Then an hour and 10 minutes later, I sell at 22.15, 10 more. Same time, 22.07, sell 10. 16.07, or 8 minutes later, I sell 10 more at 20 basis points higher. 20 minutes later, I sell 10 more down a little bit. Or buy, excuse me, I bought. This is where a buy comes in. So therefore, a reduction of price of 29 plus 11 is 40 points. So it goes down almost 10%, get a small gain. And then 21.82, another small gain again. So you sell at 22.39. Not bad, I guess, but notice the time differential. It was 17.07, 17.36, sell again, just a small gain. 17.39, 3 minutes later, buy at 21.87. And as we continue through, we can see every single day, like February, well, nothing happened here. I got out on February 23rd, I got out at 1983. Then I bought back in at 1708. So basically, as we look at it, that was free extra coins. I could have just held those 32 coins, but instead I got 35 at this price. And then it didn't take long for the market to start going up. 1816, just 3 minutes later. Selling at 1816, selling at 1801, interestingly. Selling at 1832, selling at 1855, all in the 4-hour time slot. And then I buy at a higher price in which I sold. Selling at 23.27. Now, what I think I started doing then, which is what I'm going into on my next topic, I'll just scroll through here. If you want to just, if you're curious, you can pause the video at any time. But it was just generally getting as many trades as you can. You can see multiple trades per day. But at this point, I was playing the order book. So if a price was at around 2100 for something, let's just assume the ask was 2100, or the ask was 2120, we'll say, and the bid is 2100. I would look for divergences in here. Say, for example, I would see, well, if even at this, sometimes I would just try to get the top of it, say 2101, and then try to sell it maybe, and maybe this was 2129, and then try to put a sell order at 2128. So I do a lot of that back then. I'd also maybe see here something, okay, here at 2087, say, there's a big buy order. So I'm going to put my order in at 88, and then just put the order in. And then maybe it took 10 minutes or 7 minutes to hit. So then I would look at where the ask price were at that time, and I would see that, heck, I could put it in right now. To say even that's at 21.29. I could put in a sell order in at 21.25, and then it would hit, kind of deal. And you probably notice within a lot of these possible trades that just maybe a lot of them just may have worked out that way. Here's March 17th at 1900. Here's a buy, 99 of them at 34.06, happening, yeah, right here. Sell 34.9870, then buy at 1904, 4 minutes later at the 34.06, then sell 8 minutes later at the 34.95. And this is decent sized moves when you think about it. It's 90 points almost. That's close to 3 points percent, over 2.5%, even with rate taken off. And then buy at 34.24, sell at 35.11. That's what I was doing. And I'm even thinking today, should I try to get back into doing that? And look at this move here. Holy, the 10 minutes later. I don't know what I seen to get such a big difference, but I obviously didn't have buy orders in at 34 or 3300 or they would have hit. But I was at this time doing a lot and just looking at the order book, the bids and the asks, and trying to determine how can I take the most advantage of this. I can tell you what it did. I was obsessed with being on the computer, making the trades, looking at the numbers. which I don't do so much. Back then, I had a laptop beside my bed that maybe I didn't fall asleep in 20 or 30 minutes when I went to bed. Maybe it was 45 minutes or an hour. Well, I might have turned my computer on 2 or 3 times within that hour just to refresh my order screen to see if maybe Bella or Golem or anything else might have traded. And if it did, I'd look to see what's available, turn it off, and go back to bed. I literally did that back then with a much lower size bankroll than today. But I just find it very interesting, so that's why I thought I'd talk a lot about it. Let's just show even what happened at the end of this, because this is when the market's up. Now we're playing 4,500 prices, then the 5,000 prices. There it goes up to 8,500. Sell at 85, sell at 9, buy at 84. Didn't mean to do that. Where's my keyboard? Is there undo here? Yeah, there is. And then buy 8,000, buy 79, sell 83, sell 83, sell 87, sell 9,000, sell 88, sell 89, buy 83, buy 82, buy 8,000, sell 83, buy 8,000, buy 75, sell at 79, sell at 82, buy at 80. This is higher. Buy at 83, sell at 85, buy at 82, and so on and so forth. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.